The sky is the color of bruised plums when the car pulls away. Lila stands at the edge of the gravel road, 8 years old, wearing a dress 2 sizes too small and shoes held together with hope and electrical tape. The taillights of her stepmother's sedan shrink into twin red eyes, swallowed by the throat of the forest. No brake lights, no hesitation, just the growl of an engine that never loved her, fading into the kind of silence that eats children whole. She doesn't cry. Not yet. The air smells like wet earth and rotting leaves. Autumn has come early this year, stripping the trees naked before their time. Around her, the woods exhale. A low, ancient breath that moves through the pines like a lullaby, sung in a language no one remembers. Lila's small hands clutch a garbage bag containing everything she owns. 3 shirts, a broken hairbrush, a stuffed rabbit named River, whose left eye hangs by a thread. Behind her, half hidden by overgrown weeds and the skeletal fingers of dead bramble, stands the old shelter. It was a ranger station once, maybe, or a hunter's cabin forgotten by time. Now it is a ruin, roof caved in on one side, windows shattered into jagged teeth, walls the color of smoke and abandonment. The door hangs crooked on one hinge, creaking in the wind like an old man's sigh. The stepmother's last words still ring in Lila's ears. "You're too expensive, too quiet, too much like your father." Lila didn't know her father. She only knew he'd left before she learned to walk, and that her mother followed him 3 winters later, not to find him, but to escape the cold. That's what the stepmother said anyway, voice sharp as broken glass. "Your mama loved the idea of you more than the reality." The wind picks up. Lila turns toward the shelter. She doesn't know it yet, but this is the last time she will be abandoned. Inside, the shelter smells like ghosts, mildew and mouse droppings, rust and rain-soaked wood. The floorboards groan under her weight, soft with rot in places, treacherous as thin ice. Moonlight pours through the broken roof in silver columns, illuminating dust motes that swirl like tiny galaxies. In the corner, something skitters, rat or squirrel, she can't tell, and disappears into a crack in the wall. Lila sets down her garbage bag. Her stomach is a fist clenched around nothing. The stepmother left her with no food, no water, no plan. Survival is not a gift. It's a tooth you grow when everything soft has been bitten away. She explores by moonlight. In what must have been the main room, there's a rusted wood stove with a pipe that goes nowhere. A table split down the middle, shelves collapsing under the weight of time. And in the back corner, almost hidden, a small door. Lila opens it. A bedroom. Tiny. Just big enough for a cot and a wooden crate. The window here is intact, and through it she can see the forest, endless, indifferent, alive with the secret language of nocturnal things. An owl calls, another answers. The trees sway, their shadows dancing on the walls like priests in some forgotten ceremony. She lies down on the cot, which smells like must and old dreams. River the rabbit is tucked under her chin. Outside, the wind sings a song without words. You are alone, it seems to say, and alone is the first step toward becoming whole. Lila closes her eyes. Sleep doesn't come easy, but eventually it comes, and with it, the dreams. She dreams of her mother, not as she was, but as she might have been. A woman made of light and rain, standing in a field of wildflowers, reaching out but never quite touching. She dreams of her father, faceless, a shadow with kind hands. She dreams of a house that never existed, walls built from laughter, a roof made of songs. When she wakes, the sun is rising and she is still alive. Days bleed into weeks. Lila learns the forest the way some children learn alphabets. She learns which berries won't kill her, blackberries by the creek, wild strawberries hidden under broad leaves. She learns to catch rainwater in a rusted bucket. She learns that loneliness is not the same as being alone, and that silence can be a kind of music if you listen long enough. She begins to fix the shelter, not with tools. She has none. Not with money. She has less than none. But with her hands, with patience, with a kind of stubbornness that keeps weeds pushing through concrete. First, she clears the debris. Broken glass swept into a pile. Rotted wood dragged outside. The floor scrubbed with creek water and a torn piece of her own shirt. It takes 3 days. Her hands blister, then bleed, then harden. Next, she patches the roof. She finds sheets of corrugated metal in a ravine, half buried in orange with rust, and drags them back one by one. They're heavy, too heavy for a child, but Lila is no longer just a child. She is a builder, an architect of second chances. She climbs onto the roof, balancing on beams that could snap at any moment, and lays the metal sheets down, securing them with stones and prayer. The first night it rains afterward. She lies in her cot and listens. No drips, no leaks. The rain sings on the metal roof like 1,000 tiny drum beats, and Lila smiles for the first time in months. Then comes the garden. She finds seeds in the forest, dandelion fluff, acorns, the dried heads of wildflowers. She clears a patch of earth near the shelter's entrance, turning the soil with a flat rock, her fingers black with dirt and effort. She plants without knowing if anything will grow. Faith is not certainty. Faith is planting anyway. Weeks pass. Green shoots appear. Tomatoes somehow. A volunteer pumpkin vine, twisting and ambitious. Wildflowers. Goldenrod asters, black-eyed Susans that carpet the ground in riots of color. The garden becomes a psalm written in petals and leaves, a testament to the truth that life, given even the smallest mercy, will claw its way toward the sun. One afternoon, while she's watering her plants with a tin can, she hears it. A sound, a whimper. At the edge of the clearing, partially hidden by ferns, is a dog. He is old, fur matted and gray around the muzzle, one ear torn, ribs visible beneath his coat like piano keys. His eyes are amber, and they hold the kind of sadness that only creatures who have been betrayed by humans can carry. Lila approaches slowly. She extends her hand. The dog sniffs, then cautiously licks her palm. "You're alone too," she whispers. She names him Dust. That night, they sleep side by side on the cot, and for the first time since the taillights disappeared, Lila does not feel like she is drowning. Autumn deepens. The forest burns gold and crimson, a wildfire of color before the long gray sleep of winter. Lila's garden swells with life. She harvests tomatoes, roasts acorns, dries herbs on the windowsill. The shelter is no longer a ruin. It is a home. Word spreads in the way that mysterious things do in small forgotten places. First comes the woman, elderly, bent like a question mark, carrying a basket of apples. She leaves them on the doorstep without knocking. The next day, a man in a flannel shirt brings firewood, stacking it neatly by the door. Then a child, no older than Lila, leaves a loaf of bread wrapped in cloth. No one speaks to her directly, but she understands. The forest has eyes, and kindness, however late, has a way of arriving. One evening, as the first snow begins to fall, Lila sits on the porch with dust beside her. She has strung lights, salvaged Christmas bulbs found in a box beneath the floorboards across the doorway. They don't work, of course. There's no electricity, but she has placed candles inside them, and they glow like captured stars. The shelter shines. Lila says nothing. "I came to see if you were real." The woman's voice cracks. "My daughter. She ran away last year. I don't know if she's..." She stops. Swallows. "I wanted to believe that somewhere, someone like you was out there, surviving, making something beautiful out of nothing." Lila stands. Dust rises with her. "She might still come back," Lila says, her voice soft but steady. The woman's eyes fill. She nods. Then, without another word, she turns and walks back into the forest. But before she disappears, she looks back once and smiles. Winter arrives like a thief. The forest goes silent. Snow blankets the world in white, muffling sound, erasing paths. Lila and Dust huddle by the wood stove, burning logs. The man in flannel continues to leave. She reads by candlelight, books left anonymously wrapped in scarves and kindness. One night during a blizzard, there's a knock at the door. Lila opens it. A girl stands there. 12, maybe 13. Hair matted with snow, lips blue, eyes hollow. "Please," the girl whispers. Lila pulls her inside. They don't speak much that first night. Lila wraps the girl in blankets, feeds her warm broth made from garden vegetables and melted snow. Dust curls at the girl's feet, offering the silent comfort only animals understand. The girl's name is Mara. She ran away from a foster home, got lost, gave up. "I thought I'd die out here," Mara says, voice raw. "I wanted to." Lila sits beside her. "I thought that too, once. What changed?" Lila looks around the shelter, the patched roof, the glowing candles, the dog sleeping peacefully. "I realize that being unwanted doesn't mean being unworthy." The words hang in the air like snow. Mara begins to cry, not the loud, desperate tears of a child, but the quiet, breaking tears of someone who has held too much for too long. Lila takes her hand. "You can stay," she says simply, "as long as you need." Winter melts. The world returns in shades of green. Birds sing the songs of resurrection. The creek swells with snowmelt, rushing and laughing over stones. Mara stays. Together they expand the garden. They fix the front. A woman approaches from the tree line. She is younger than the stepmother, but her face carries the same tired lines. She stops at the edge of the garden, staring. "I heard about you," the woman says quietly. "The girl who was left behind." Lila says nothing. "I came to see if you were real." The woman's voice cracks. "My daughter. She ran away last year. I don't know if she's..." She stops, swallows. "I wanted to believe that somewhere, someone like you was out there, surviving, making something beautiful out of nothing." Lila stands. Dust rises with her. "She might still come back," Lila says, her voice soft but steady. The woman's eyes fill. She nods. Then, without another word, she turns and walks back into the forest. But before she disappears, she looks back once and smiles. Winter arrives like a thief. The forest goes silent. Snow blankets the world in white, muffling sound, erasing paths. Lila and Dust huddle by the wood stove, burning logs. The man in flannel continues to leave. She reads by candlelight, books left anonymously wrapped in scarves and kindness. One night during a blizzard, there's a knock at the door. Lila opens it. A girl stands there. 12, maybe 13. Hair matted with snow, lips blue, eyes hollow. Please, the girl whispers. Lila pulls her inside. They don't speak much that first night. Lila wraps the girl in blankets, feeds her warm broth made from garden vegetables and melted snow. Dust curls at the girl's feet, offering the silent comfort only animals understand. The girl's name is Mara. She ran away from a foster home, got lost, gave up. I thought I'd die out here, Mara says, voice raw. I wanted to. Lila sits beside her. I thought that too, once. What changed? Lila looks around the shelter, the patched roof, the glowing candles, the dog sleeping peacefully. I realize that being unwanted doesn't mean being unworthy. The words hang in the air like snow. Mara begins to cry, not the loud, desperate tears of a child, but the quiet, breaking tears of someone who has held too much for too long. Lila takes her hand. You can stay, she says simply. As long as you need. Winter melts. The world returns in shades of green. Birds sing the songs of resurrection. The creek swells with snowmelt, rushing and laughing over stones. Mara stays. Together they expand the garden. They fix the front steps. They paint the door, a bright, defiant red, found in an abandoned barn 2 miles away. Others come. A boy who won't speak but works tirelessly. A woman fleeing violence. An elderly man with nowhere to go. The shelter becomes more than a building. It becomes a promise. You are not too broken to be loved. One morning, Lila wakes to find Dust lying still. He is old. His heart has given all it had to give. She buries him beneath the oak tree at the edge of the clearing, marking the spot with stones and wildflowers. Mara stands beside her, silent, strong. He found you when you needed him most, Mara says. Lila nods. And I found him when he needed me. That night, as the others sleep, Lila sits on the porch. The forest breathes around her, alive, eternal, indifferent in the best way. She thinks of the stepmother's tail lights, the cold gravel road, the little girl with the garbage bag. She is not that girl anymore. She has become something else. A gardener of broken things. A builder of shelters. A believer in second springs. The moon rises full and silver, and Lila understands finally what her mother meant when she said, "The world will try to abandon you. Your job is to stay." Thank you for walking this path with Lila. For believing that even in the ruins, something beautiful can grow. We all carry within us an old shelter. A place where we were abandoned, forgotten, or left to crumble. But we also carry the seeds, the hands, the stubborn, ferocious hope. Lila's story is not just hers. It is every child who was told they were too much, or not enough. Every person who rebuilt themselves from splinters and faith. Every soul who refused to let abandonment be the final word. So I ask you gently, which moment reached your heart the most? Was it the dog? The first visitor? The door painted red? And what shelter in your own life are you ready to rebuild?